Hello friends, welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey here live from the College Football Playoff National Championship. That's why my background looks a little bit different today, but we are here to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We know their NFC Divisional Round matchup. It will be the Los Angeles Rams, the Cowboys going on the road to face the Rams, and I'll make note of this right away. Not going to be as big of a home field advantage as you normally see for a playoff game. I fully expect there are going to be a lot of Cowboys fans in the Coliseum for this game, potentially even more than the Rams have fans there. Now, we'll break down this game in depth here, but first I want to get a score prediction from you guys. Put it in the comments section who you got. Cowboys versus the Rams. Predict the score. If you get it exactly right, DM me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. If you are the first one to get it right, I'll send you guys $25. But you got to get it exactly right, and you have to DM me on Twitter. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to give it away. All right, before we dive into this game itself here are your other NFC Divisional Round matchup. It's the Eagles at the Saints, which does, by the way, keep alive the possibility of the Cowboys hosting the NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles, which I think kind of feels like a bit of a long shot at this point. Over in the AFC, Colts, they take on the Kansas City Chiefs in the matchup of the C's, and then the Chargers take on the Patriots as well. And both of those, I think, will be good games to watch, and I'm sure you'll be just like me. Your eyes will be glued to the TV for all four of these playoff matchups. All right, back down to the Cowboys and the Rams. Rams are favored by 7 in this one. The total over-under, 48.5. I think the Cowboys are going to have a very good chance of covering, as long as they don't really fall behind quickly, which I do kind of worry is my deepest, darkest fear about this Cowboys team against the Rams. I think that defense is so good. I still believe that defenses do win championships. I think the Cowboys have that defense to step up and at least limit that prolific Rams passing attack and the ground game with Todd Gurley. And oh, by the way, that Rams defense, it's really not that good. So Cowboys and the Rams here, I think the Cowboys are going to have a good chance to put up a good showing in this one. So a more in-depth breakdown here of how it'll look when both teams are on offense, starting off with the LA Rams. And the Rams, it's a matchup of strengths. All right? They are the number 2 scoring offense behind only the Kansas City Chiefs. The Cowboys' defense is number 5. Both of them have top 5 run defenses versus run offenses. The passing attack for the Cowboys has been, at times, mainly late in games when they're up by 2 scores, tends to wilt a little bit. And I would like to see more turnovers, but we saw that later on in the year as things went along. The Cowboys' defense has got to find a way to force turnovers. The Rams can turn over a little bit. If you can make Jared Goff make mistakes, that's a big boost for that Cowboys defense. And then, meanwhile, when the Cowboys are on offense, well, it hasn't been great, but frankly, neither has the Rams defense. All right? They're both around that 20th overall mark, below average. The Cowboys' offense has struggled. Now, it has been much better since Amari Cooper came over. The turnovers have been fairly solid in terms of mistakes, but the Rams have done a great job of forcing turnovers, as it always is when it comes down to the end result, when it comes down to the turnover battle. Normally, you see the team that wins it ends up winning the game, and the Rams have done a fantastic job this year. Even though they give up points and allow yards, they force turnovers, and we know when Dak Prescott doesn't turn the ball over, the Cowboys almost always win. I am sure that will be a focal point for the Cowboys in their game week prep. Don't make mistakes, force Goff to make them, and you can pull the upset out on the road. Again, Cowboys at the Rams, that is your NFC Divisional Round matchup. Here's how things have gone the last couple times these teams have played. Back in 2017, the Rams did win that one. I'll make note, though, by the way, that's the only time they've played in LA. Before this was always the St. Louis Rams. So, Cowboys, they won 2014, 13, 11, and of course 2008 wasn't quite the same result. And by the way, remember how the whole Dak Prescott thing started. I know it was a preseason game, but we've seen Dak have success out in LA against the Rams before. Now, the Cowboys, in their last 5 games, and really since that Amari Cooper trade and since that Titans loss, they've won 8 of their last 9, including 4 of their last 5. The thrilling overtime win against the Eagles. The very ugly loss against the Colts. The win against the Bucs, which wasn't always so pretty. The Giants was a great game. And then, of course, the critical win over the Seahawks in the wild card round. The Rams, meanwhile, they've kind of backed in a little bit. They did beat the Lions, but that was closer than expected. They lost to the Bears and the Eagles, which wasn't the best showing there for the Rams. And then they beat the Cardinals and the 49ers, but those teams aren't very good. And I don't fully buy into the if you don't win your last 5 games, you're going to have a rough playoff stretch. I think that's okay. The Rams very much played it safe down the stretch, avoiding injuries to guys like Todd Gurley. So I'm not going to read too much into it. They're a good football team. Look, if you're up at this point in the playoffs, you're not a fluke or a fraud. You're just a really good team. So predict the score, Cowboys versus the Rams. Get in the comment section. Then DM me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. If you're the first one to get it right, I'll send you guys $25. You got to be first, and you got to get it exactly right. And by the way, tell me which team is going to win, because sometimes you guys just send me a score prediction, and I don't know which team you picked to win, which kind of defeats the whole purpose, you know? All right, folks, if you haven't already, go subscribe to us on YouTube. The link's right there, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. If you're watching here live on Facebook, that's your URL. If you're watching on YouTube, well, just hit that subscribe button. We got news, rumors, fan-led content, and highlights as well. Our Cowboys Seahawks highlight cut is already up on that channel, obviously. So again, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. Go hit that subscribe button for all the best Cowboys coverage out there. It is truly the best Cowboys YouTube channel in existence. So again, folks, got to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. In the meantime, we'll talk now about some of the injury updates for the Dallas Cowboys. And Allen Hurns, I know you guys saw it. We're not going to show it to you like we did in our highlight cut, or like we didn't do in our highlight cut, because you don't need to see it again there. Hurns suffered a very gruesome leg injury versus the Seattle Seahawks. Had surgery for a dislocated left ankle and multiple fractures. The good news is he says he'll be able to return for the start of 2019. So good news there for Allen Hurns. Obviously a scary and ugly injury, and I know you guys agree with me here. We wish nothing for the best at Hurns in his recovery. Hopefully he's able to come back and resume his NFL career. All right, comment coming in from Janet Martin says, "What's up with my man Beasley?" Great question. That's our next injury update for you guys, because Cole Beasley is dealing with a high ankle sprain. He's fought through it for quite some time, and he's going to keep fighting through it. You saw it against Seattle. He aggravated it and then kind of only came in on obvious passing downs because the Cowboys needed to limit his reps in that game because that ankle is just not right. So although he did return, he will need to be monitored throughout the week. And I think Cole Beasley will play, but I'm saying this on Sunday. Let's see how things go on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. We saw it with Xavier Su'a-Filo, who we'll get to here in a minute. But Su'a-Filo, the Cowboys thought he could have come back in the game. He didn't, and then he wasn't able to practice at all. So that will need to be monitored. If I have to guess right now, I do think Cole Beasley plays. But all of a sudden, the Cowboys are rather thin at wide receiver. Obviously, you have Amari Cooper. You have Michael Gallup still. Tavon Austin's played his handful of snaps role fairly well and has been great on returns. Noah Brown has been that blocking wide receiver. But if you don't have Cole Beasley with Allen Hurns out for the year, all of a sudden, who's your go-to slot guy? I would hope Tavon. Watch out for a re-promotion here of Lance Lenoir. I fully expect Lenoir will be called up by the Dallas Cowboys. Hurns, of course, is going to go on IR. The Cowboys know and trust Lenoir. And in terms of his role as a receiver, slot kind of fits him a little bit better. I don't want him on punt returns because I don't trust him, but we saw him make some plays in the preseason. Maybe he can make an impact here for the Cowboys down the stretch if needed. And then one more injury note here, Xavier Su'a-Filo. He did not play against the Seattle Seahawks. Jason Garrett said that he thought he could have come back in the game in Week 17. I thought, okay, it's a minor ankle injury. But then he didn't practice at all during the week, and he wasn't able to play at either. Now, I know you guys like Su'a-Filo more than Connor Williams. I'm not that concerned right now. I like Connor Williams a lot. When he gets beat, it's in a very obvious way, but he doesn't get beat any more often than Su'a-Filo does as far as I'm concerned. Now, there are obviously different types of getting beaten. Williams tends to be the more ugly, embarrassing kind, but I trust Connor Williams, and having Tyron Smith back, and he played fairly well as well, I'm not concerned about the left guard spot. So if both are healthy, who should start? I am sure most of you are going to type in S for Su'a-Filo, but I'm going to go different. Give me Connor Williams. Yeah, he needs to get stronger still. I like him a lot, and when the Cowboys use more pulling, It fits Connor Williams very well. Now, you're going to have a tough time against the Rams front four. It's really, really good, but I would love to see some draws. Take advantage of Aaron Donald and that Rams front being very aggressive and get Connor Williams to the second level. That's how you can bust some big runs with Zeke Elliott. All right, folks, subscribe to our Cowboys Report YouTube channel. The link is right there, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. For those of you watching live right now on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button. It's right there on the page for you. We've got news, rumors, fan-led content, and highlights as well all year long. And don't worry, we're going to have all kinds of great offseason coverage, once that comes in February. Am I right, guys? All right, quick comment here coming in from Sean Kitty. Says, T. Williams, where he at? He's still on IR. He is not eligible to return. None of the Cowboys players on IR are going to be able to return this year. They've already brought back Noah Brown, and they already brought back C.J. Goodwin. One more player who you didn't see much of against Seattle is Sean Lee. He only played 4 snaps against the Seattle Seahawks. And you guys know, if you've watched the show before, 4 snaps in total, that I love Sean Lee. And I say this with a heavy heart to an extent. He done. Sean Lee's time with the Cowboys is over. He is a backup. He played the exact same amount of snaps as Joe Thomas. He's your number 4/number 5 linebacker. The Cowboys can save $7 million by cutting or trading or having him retire this offseason. Sean Lee will not be back with the Dallas Cowboys at his current contract. Now, he works out a really cheap restructure, which I guess is a possibility, but I think it's far more likely that Sean Lee calls it a career, gets cut, or gets traded by the Dallas Cowboys, and either plays elsewhere or moves into a coaching role with the Cowboys than him actually suiting up next year as a member of the Dallas Cowboys. I love what he's done for Jaylon and Leighton Vander Esch. I truly think that Sean Lee being on the sidelines there has been a big factor in the development of Jaylon and Vander Esch. I want him as a coach, but at his price tag, and with him not even getting on the field, it's simply time to let Sean Lee go. George says, cut Sean Lee. I'm open to trying to trade him. I honestly don't know if anyone wants an aging, injury-prone linebacker, but I think a cut is a likely outcome there. Or maybe Jerry Jones can convince Sean Lee to find a way to pull a Romo and retire and move into a broadcasting role, or more ideally as an assistant coach for the Dallas Cowboys. So one question here for you guys. Will Sean Lee play for Dallas next year? Type Y for yes, type N for no. It's not set in stone yet, but I'm going N. I don't think he's going to be able to play. Another question here from DZ Ray Cowboy says, what's going on with David Irving? We could use him in LA. I agree with you that you could definitely use him because when he's on the field, he's so talented. The issue with David Irving is that up until later this week, I should say last week now, he really wasn't around the team. He was in the locker room at the end of the week, which is a good sign there, but he wasn't keeping up with his rehab. He really wasn't keeping up with his meetings, with being at practice. He just wasn't around the team. It's been termed a long ankle sprain. I hope David Irving comes back. The Cowboys are holding out hope, so I haven't put him on IR yet, but if I have to guess right now, I don't think you see David Irving play against the LA Rams. It's injuries and him just not being around the team enough. All right, George Riddle says Alan Hurns will be out for 2 years, big-time injury. Not with today's medical science. Now, we'll see if he's actually able to come back, but you can come back from that type of injury. He says he'll be back and good to go for the start of the 2019 season. It's a break. It was an ugly, gruesome break, as no one's going to deny that. But in reality, a break can kind of be better than a tear. So it was bad. We'll see if Hurns does come back, but he certainly thinks he'll be able to return for the start of the 2019 season. Richard Joseph, do we believe we have the secondary for Cooks and Woods? It's a fair question. I think you can. You managed to stop the Saints passing attack. You stopped a bunch of passing attacks so far this year. You got to be careful. You got to make sure you guys don't get burnt. I worry about Awuzie not being able to turn his head around for the ball. But the biggest thing there, you have the pass rush too. It's not just the secondary. You have the rushers from DeMarcus Lawrence, whenever he's upped his game as of late, to impact Jared Goff. And if you can find a way to pressure Goff and get to him, he will make mistakes. That's one of his main weaknesses, as it is for many quarterbacks. So I think that's the big deal there for the Cowboys. Rams favored by 7. I like the Cowboys' chances. I'll make my prediction later on in the week, but I think the Cowboys have a legitimate chance. All right, you found a way to beat the Seattle Seahawks. You're in the playoffs. It's all about finding a way to survive and advance. And I'll give Garrett and company credit. The one thing they've done really well as of late is survive and advance. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.